Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial we're going to be making this beautiful crop top with an elastic and a drawstring at the center. Okay, so if this looks like what you're interested in, definitely keep on watching and let's dive into the video. So to begin, this is what I have my pattern paper. I already went out to draw out all the vital lines that we need: the shoulder line, the bust line, and the full length of the top. Okay, so here the first thing I did was to take my neck width and depth, which is the basic neck measurement we always use, 3 by 3 inches. So after I took it, I just went ahead to connect the two dots. So next I took my shoulder measurement divided by 2 and I made a dot there on my shoulder line. Okay, and from that point I came down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. All right, so here I just connected that 1 inch back to the tip of our neckline. So from that 1 inch down, we are going to take our armhole depth, which we get by dividing our bust measurement by 6 and adding 1.5 to it. Okay, so when we have gotten that, we drew a line across that measurement we have, and that place will be called our chest line. All right, so here I just went ahead to label that line our chest line. So after I've gotten that, the next thing I went ahead to do is to draw a straight line across our armhole depth to connect our shoulder slant down to the chest line, which will be our armhole depth. All right, so the next thing we went ahead to do is to get our armhole curve. Okay, so to get our armhole curve, we are going to divide our armhole depth by 2, and whatever we have, we are going to come in that center with 0.5 inches. Okay, so when we have gotten that, we went ahead to divide our bust measurement by 4 and we impute our measurement there. Okay, on our chest line. So from there we are going to connect the point on our shoulder slope to the point at the center of our shoulder depth, and then the measurements we had when we divided our bust by 4. All right, like you see me doing, this is the way I connected it to get our armhole curve. Right, so I'm using freehand for this. If you have your French rule, please use your curve for this part. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to actually impute my bust measurements in the remaining area of the bust, which is on the actual bust line. Okay, so after I was done doing that, the next thing I went ahead to do is to connect from the chest line down to the waistline, which is the full length. Okay, so if you have watched any video of me adding elastic to any top, I have a video like that in my channel. I might link it down below. You are going to see that I don't like shaping in the waistline. I like taking it straight from the bust line to the full length, because you know elastic is going to gather it on the waist part. Okay, so when I've achieved that, the next thing we are going to do is to determine how deep or how revealing you want your top to be. Okay, first off, I went up by 4 inches and then I found out it was going to be too closed up, so I decided to use 3 inches for this. So what I finally did was to measure 3 inches from our chest line up to the shoulder line. Okay, like you see me doing, I measured from my chest line up, so I got 3 inches, and then that is what I'm going to connect. Okay, so but if you want yours to be very covered, you can use 4 inches depending on the height of the client. Right, so when I've gotten that, I went ahead to mark a straight line across. Okay, so here I'm just marking out our armhole depth so it becomes a little bit clearer. So when I've gotten this, I'm just going to go ahead now and cut this out, because at this part we are done with drafting the pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead now and cut this pattern out. So this is what it looks like after I was done cutting it out. We are going to go ahead now and start cutting on the actual fabric. So to cut on the actual fabric, I actually pinned down my pattern paper on my fabric, which is folded into 4. All right, this fabric is folded into 4 because it's going to have the front and the back. I'm going to cut the front and the back at the same time. Okay, so after that I added all the vital measurements. Okay, so all the vital allowance, so on the side I added 2.5 inches. 1 inch is going to be for the shaping and 1.5 is going to be for the elastic to gather, to actually draw the elastic, okay, because this top is not tight. So on the armhole we added 1.5 inches, so that when we gather it, we are going to still be free enough. There's still going to be free, the top is still going to be free on us, okay. I hope you understand this. And on the down part and on the upper part, I added 0.5 inches. Okay, so this is what it looks like after we are done cutting it and we sprayed it. So at this point we already have the front and the back of this top. So for the sleeve, I also folded my fabric into 4. Okay, so we are going to fold the fabric into 4 for the sleeve. And what you are going to do is you are going to introduce the top that you just finished cutting, just so you are going to trace out the armhole of the top. Okay, we're going to want to make sure that the armhole of the top is exactly the same thing with the armhole of the sleeve. Okay, that is the reason why you're tracing it out. Now this sleeve, I had no measurement for it, I just made it as big as I want. And if you want your sleeve to be fuller than what we have in the picture, or if you want it to be exactly like what you have in the picture, you are going to place your fabric on a flay fold. Okay, we know how to fold a flay. Okay, so that is it. But I did it straight because I was managing the fabric, and you already know that there's going to be elastic also on the top of the sleeve. Okay, so at this point we are done with the cutting. We are going to go ahead now and start sewing. And to start sewing, what I did was I sprayed one part of my fabric across my table, and then I introduced one part of the sleeve. Okay, so this is one of the sleeve. I'm going to join it to the main fabric on the armhole with 0.5 inches, like you see me pinning it down right now. And when I'm done, I'm going to open it up like this and turn to the other part of the armpit of that same sleeve. Okay, and I'm going to introduce the other bodies, which can be the front or the back. I'm going to introduce it and also hold it down on the armhole, just like I did for the other parts, with 0.5 inches as well. Okay, at this point I'm going to spray that's the other side also and introduce the other sleeve. All right, at this point you might have gotten the hang of it. I'm going to join all the shoulder to shoulder together, the shoulder of the sleeve, the armhole of the sleeve, and the armhole of the top together. So when you are done, you are going to have a round fabric. Okay, so this is what it looks like when we are done. Like I said before, if you did it right, you are going to have all the fabric together and it's going to be in a round form with no opening anywhere. Okay, so to attach our elastic, we are just going to fold in our fabric like this, like the way you see me doing. And when you are folding it in, this is elastic we plan on using. This is the tiny elastic. Okay, so when you are folding in your fabric, you are going to be matching the elastic on top. All right, so you're going to fold the fabric once, so you're going to be using the elastic to cover the rough edges. I hope you understand this. And when you're matching the elastic, you have to make sure that you leave some space on the top to give it that crunchy look that this top actually has. Okay, so while you are matching it, you are also going to be drawing the elastic, so that after matching it together, it's going to actually be stretching. All right, so at this point we are done joining this elastic, and we are done sewing this elastic to the top, and this is what it looks like. All right, so when we are sewing the elastic, we are going to sew on the tip of the elastic for the up and the down, so that it will give it 2 lines and make it more beautiful. All right, so this is what we have after we are done sewing in our elastic. So the next thing we are going to do now is to shape this cloth. Okay, but you can decide to put that star at the front, that rope at the front, before you shape it, if that is going to be easier for you. Okay, but then what I did first, I went ahead to shape this. Then after shaping it, I went ahead to sew in my elastic to the down part, and I used the English sewing method that I taught in the last class. So if you have not watched that video, I'm going to link it down in the description box below. Okay, so this is what we achieved. This English sewing is always so neat. So if you really don't know how to do this, I recommend you go and watch that video. I'm going to link it in the description box. So after doing that, what I did was find the midpoint for one side. Remember that this clothes can be worn on either side because is the same both the front and the back. So I found the midpoint, and I'm going to put my rope channel. Okay, so on that center you're going to make sure you find the midpoint. You're going to introduce a band just like you see me doing, and this band you are going to fold it on both sides. Okay, like you see me doing, you're going to measure the band. Here I'm just cutting out the excess, so on the down part I'm going to fold it just to hide the rough edges, but I'm not going to stitch on it. So you're going to leave the up and the down open. You're only going to stitch the both sides. Okay, I hope you understand this. So while stitching, you're going to make sure that the fabric is well placed on the center, so that after sewing this you're going to match on the center of that band as well. Okay, so here I'm going to use the remaining band to sew a rope for this. Okay, this is what we have. I was done sewing this, and this is what we have. Like I said, after sewing it, you are going to match a line at the center, so that the channel you created is going to end up being 2 channels, because when you are passing the rope, you are going to pass the rope through the 2 holes. Okay, I hope you understand this. So here I'm just passing the rope because I've also gone ahead to make my rope ready. So I'm passing my rope from the down part of this top. Okay, so I don't know if it's rare that I love using nails to pass my rope, so but if you like using safety pin, please go ahead to use what works for you. Alright, so here I'm just passing my rope. Remember I said you are going to pass your rope from the down part to the upper part. Sorry, from the down part to the upper part. Then from the upper part you are going to take it down again, because we made 2 channels. When we have divided the band into 2, we created 2 channels. So you're going to pass it from the down part to the upper part. Then from the upper part again, you're going to pass it till you get it to the down part again. Okay, so I hope you understand this. So here I just made my rope equal, and I'm just trying to pick out the center of the rope at the top. Okay, so when I've gotten this, I'm going to stitch on it so that the rope will be kept in place to avoid moving, so that when you draw your rope, it's not going to move at the top. All right, so at this point we have gotten to the end of this video. Please ensure you subscribe and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. See you guys later. Bye.